Imagine, if you will, me. But, like a younger me. Like 10. A young me who's playing some good old Final Fantasy III, as it was known at the time. Now, obviously being 10, I have no patience and not much of an attention span, so naturally I'm relatively underlevel. So here I am, fighting my way through an overworld, then a really long, brutal dungeon, then a mountain, then a boss, then another part of the overworld, and I have no idea where I am. I'm down to no more healing potions, I've got 2 characters dead, my last one's in the red. I've been running from every battle for the last 20 minutes, then bam! On the horizon, I see a village. Is that where I'm supposed to go next? I don't frickin' know. Or really care. I just run towards the village. I mean, if I don't make it, I'm dead. Man, the safety of a nice village after being in a state of mortal danger for about half an hour, you can't beat it. Hit the inn, refill your items, relax a bit, and it's all driven home by the best village theme song! Anyway, this isn't a collection of the very best ones, it's just a few of my favorites, and as usual this isn't a top 5 or whatever, so it's in no particular order. As I play each song, I'll annoyingly talk over it, but I'll be sure to let you know where you can go and listen to the full track without me talking. When you and your team arrive in the quaint little cottage town of Green Hill for the first time in Suikoden 2, the town is under the control of the Highland Army, so it's not a nice place. It stays that way for the vast majority of the game. Eventually, relatively close to the end of the game, you and your army are finally able to liberate this nice scenic little town, and once you do, the theme of the town changes to a tune called Freedom again, that beautifully conveys the relief the people in the town are undoubtedly feeling now that the oppressive enemy army is no longer in control. It's so freaking happy, but not so happy that it doesn't make you feel relaxed at the same time. This song is just so ridiculously good, and it complements the setting to a perfect degree. This song, actually about 98% of the soundtrack, was composed by Miki Hagashino. And unfortunately for us, she's mostly retired these days, but her work in Suikoden 1 and 2 is still what she's best known for. Not hard at all to understand why. Yes! Chrono Cross! Everyone loves it! Nah, just kidding. Actually, it was sort of critically panned. While I myself enjoyed the game enough, I gotta say, the soundtrack alone is a good enough reason for this game to exist. Much of it is ostensibly steeped in Celtic influences, and this song here is possibly the best example of that. There's really no reason for this song to be what it is. And what I mean by that is we're not in a Celtic-style town, and we're not in a Celtic-style part of the world at this point in the game, or in any part of the game actually, so the song just really is what it is. One of the best things about it is the mixing that Mitsuda managed to do. It's not hard at all to pick out whatever particular instrument you want to hear while you're listening. And when it comes to mixing a song, that's perfection. Hey, so remember that story I told at the start of this video? The one about me nearly dying because I was under level? Well, that happened to me over and over again in Earthbound. The first time, of course, was between Onett and Tucson. Do you say that Onett or Onett? Anyway, it was between the first town and the second town. So maybe that's why this song is so soothing to me. It just makes me feel really safe and relieved. So I guess on that note, it's kind of ironic that Earthbound actually has enemies running around in the city, so you can in theory die anytime, anywhere. But man, it doesn't matter. With this theme playing immediately after I finish murdering the blue-faced New Age retro hippie that attacked me, the song starts over, and I go back to being comforted by its melody. Hey, anyone remember when this game came out? What? Nobody? Yeah, I guess for a Squaresoft game it didn't really have as huge a release as most of them did back then, but it was still a solid game for sure. It also definitely had a Squaresoft quality soundtrack. This village theme actually really stands out because it's one of the very few tracks in the entire soundtrack that isn't dark, intense, and orchestral. The music perfectly describes what the village is meant to be in this game, a sanctuary to return after a long day of adventuring. So here's another tune that's clearly of Celtic influence. In Suikoden, once you reach a certain point in the game, your home base gets upgraded from just a normal crappy island fortress to a glorious island fortress. One of the changes that happens is the theme song of the place goes from a nice, gentle little flute song to this song. Now you may have noticed this song starts out sounding very much like a MIDI, which really isn't all that appealing. But after a few bars it starts layering on instrument after instrument, and the way they all harmonize with each other is, in a word, just frickin' beautiful. The final chorus of the song pretty much says to the player, dude, you have a huge army and an awesome castle that's in the middle of a frickin' lake. Go beat the game.